Good morning and welcome to FYI.
Good morning.
It's Monday, the 7th of March, 2022.
Yes, it is.
I hope you had a great weekend, everyone. I'm Director Finance. Alongside me is none other than Sharon Duncan, and we are here this morning to make sure that we bring you the first bit of news. So make sure that you grab your cup of coffee or whatever it is you get to relax for the next hour.
We pulled up a chair for y'all.
Call a friend, invite a friend, make sure that everyone is in the house as we go through what is happening this morning in the papers, the morning trend.
What perhaps happened over to the last 24 hours, last 48 hours. Haven't seen you guys through the weekend. Saw you guys through the weekend. I ain't see you guys here in FYI.
You didn't see.
I didn't see.
So good morning to all of you folks joining this morning. I see Beatrice on. Good morning to you, Beatrice.
Oh, Beatrice, how you doing? Beatrice has been with us all weekend. How are you doing, Beatrice? So good to see you.
I see Dawn Cook this morning. You know, Beatrice joined you 17 times per week.
I just
thought
faithful.
About that.
That's faithful.
17
That's
times per week.
Happy Monday.
Jennifer, good morning to you. Jennifer, guys.
All the cooks.
Correct. Let us know where you're joining us from this morning. Just pin your location, just send it to us there. Make sure that you share the live stream so that we can get off to a good start for this week all together. So we're seeing Veronica Primo Rollins in the comments this morning. Good morning to you, Veronica. Africa Charles. Onyx
Africa.
Duncan. Onyx, I haven't seen you in a while. You're MIA.
Onyx, how are you doing? Onyx probably on some leave when you see you joining us this morning. You on some leave, Onyx? Let us know.
Michelle Cox, good morning to you, Michelle. We have
Michelle.
Rowena Williams joining from Linden this
Rowena's
morning.
another faithful one. Rowena, when you invited me to Linden, girl?
Sean
Here
Carter.
Plenty, nah?
Sean Carter is joining from London.
Sean Carter, you here?
You know, we just got to drive up to Linden one good afternoon.
Yes, and say, Rowena, we come, girl. We come. Where the pot? We come.
Linden is right here. So Don Cook is joining us from the west side. Tushan is in the house this morning. Elizabeth
How are you
Williams.
doing, Tushan? Lots of things happening in Region 3. Lots of things.
Most definitely. We see Patricia Gravesandi.
Patricia. Good people, Patricia. Good people.
We see I see Miss Williams is joining us from St. Martin. I'm not even going to...
St. Martin is in the house?
I'm not going to attempt the first
Up
name.
in the Hissa. St. Martin's is here. Good to see you.
Okay, France is in the house this morning. Frederick Ramcharan is joining us
from
France this
morning.
My
Lord, how is France? How is Mr. Macron doing, your president?
You see, Sharon
Emmanuel Macron.
has foreign affairs in order this morning.
Happy to have France here.
Philly, US. Good morning to you, Mr.
Philly's
Carter.
Philadelphia, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Philly.
Watching from BV, we have
Philly. I thought it was in the same place. Musa. Good people, faithful.
So Gavin Liverpool says he's joined watching from the Democratic Republic of Linden.
You feeling little like Ukraine? You got independent sections and so on. The Democratic Republic. I love it. It's what you say it is. It's what you say it is. The Democratic Republic of Linden.
So we have Joey Castle is joining from New Jersey this morning. So good morning to you.
And Jay in the house. Good to see you. Hope you guys had a good weekend like us. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Like Jarija.
Gladstone Matthews is here with us.
Gladstone's always there.
I had a good, this weekend is mostly family for me. So I haven't done a lot of family activities of recent. So this weekend I did a lot of family
I had podcasts.
Yeah.
And family.
Listen, when you are a mother, guys, International Women's Month is going on. Tomorrow's International Women's Day. I can tell you, as a mother, it's not the usual run in the mill when you have to be involved in politics and work and everything else. It's
as a father too.
It's a challenge.
Let me tell you, it's very challenging. Let me tell you, fathers too.
I knew he was coming with
fathers too. You know, I got a couple laps in the national park yesterday afternoon after the podcast, both Saturday and yesterday after the podcast.
I'm envious.
Yeah, and I use that time to. We always say on the weekends, be gentle with yourselves. I was gentle with myself.
So you did some laps.
I did some laps, and I got a good chance to think.
I was in the gym like on Friday, and I decided to do squats after a long time, so I couldn't really walk.
You had a cheat weekend.
I couldn't really walk. My thighs were killing me on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Which means you didn't go to the the International Women's Day walk on Sunday, which means.
No, but actually, listen, I wanted to go. I seriously.
But you did swats in the gym, man. Your
I
legs
did,
were ready.
and my legs, I could not do it.
It was a cop out, folks. It was a cop out.
It was not.
But we're still there. We're still there.
But
We're
on
still
that, there was an International Women's Day walk,
Yeah,
and
happened over the
and
weekend.
that is something that I'm glad I saw
Yeah.
persons turn out.
Hundreds, thousands braved the weather and went out
That was
there.
organized by the First Lady's office. So kudos to the First Lady's office for
It was
organizing
organized
that.
by the First Lady office.
Yeah,
The First Lady led the walk. It's a difference.
I think I know. I think it
I saw a
was.
headline that says First Lady leads International Day 2020 walk. I know some other organizations usually. I'm not saying she didn't. The office
No, but
didn't.
I'm pretty sure. So let's clarify this right now. So I'm pretty sure it was organized by the office of the
That's good.
First Lady. Because
FYI.
I saw an invite was sent out from her office to
FYI.
everyone to join.
Kudos
So
kudos
kudos to that. We see Trinidad in the house.
Trinidad,
this morning.
right next door. How is Kid doing?
Sharon Evans.
How is Dr. Rowley doing there?
Essequebo, Rupert August is in the house.
Democratic Republic?
We got
Democratic Republic of Essequebo too? Or not?
Listen, if anything else, Essequebo needs to hold there to the Cooperative
Mhm.
Republic of Guyana, okay?
Mhm.
We have
Whole straight.
let's hold tight there.
Whole straight. Whole
So don't
straight.
play the listening games this
Yeah,
morning.
We
All
listen.
right. So we have I think it is Juliet Benjamin is with us from
Juliet!
Is it from Canada this
Oh,
morning?
wow,
I'm not
Canada.
sure.
Is it cold? Is it cold? What's the weather like in Canada? Folks, weather-wise, it's raining cats and dogs in the national capital city of Georgetown, where we broadcast our program from. It is raining.
Iva Harry is with us from the Cayman Islands.
Mm-hmm. Is it raining there, Iva? It's raining here, cats and dogs. What's the weather like where you guys are? I know it's cold in Canada.
You know what? One
Right.
thing I've been noticing.
Morning report in Vashti. Mm-hmm.
It's very cold in Canada. But
Mhm.
one thing I've been noticing is that a lot of the persons that join us from the islands and in North America and so join us via YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But Guyanese hook to the Facebook. They
Yes,
let them go.
yes. And we know lots of folks it's cold too in some parts of the US, right?
But guys,
And I think you have some in-laws coming because it's cold.
I don't know.
Just put it on the spot.
This is not good.
It's cold, so a lot of people are running home because it's cold. We love having you guys come with all the remittances and so on. Bring it with you. You're going to send it. Bring it. Y'all come, warm up. Lots of
Oh, my
activities
goodness.
here and things happening in the news. Keeping us warm, folks. Raining outside is a little cold, but
Listen,
things keeping me warm.
It was raining. I got
Big
up.
views out over the weekend.
My alarm went off
Air
at
fun.
4 a.m. We're gonna get into that. My alarm went off at 4 a.m. this morning, but I just I just put it on
Mhm.
snooze.
You kick it up the stand.
Because it was raining. Persons that anyone that is in Georgia right now know that it's raining
Yeah,
crazy
it is.
all of morning.
It
So
is.
no one wanted to get into their bed at 4 a.m.
It
this
is. It's
morning.
raining. How many of you guys just vex with the alarm when it goes? You want to pelt the clock, pelt the watch?
It's a
Whatever it
phone,
is.
so I definitely
You know.
can't.
You're vexed with the alarm when it goes. You set it, but you wake up vexed with the alarm. Folks, good to have all of you here. We trust you guys have had a great weekend. What you guys did this weekend? I went walking. Rita went in the gym Friday. Couldn't move on the weekend. Over the weekend, spend some time with family. What did you guys do over the weekend? We trust that you guys had a great time, and we trust that you guys are going to have a great, productive week. And we're so happy that you all are starting the week here with us, folks. You know, on all our platforms, we say like, smash that emoji button, smash, and you got to share the live stream. How many of you watched Alison Hunt last night? Drinking my tea.
I did not look at it, but I know that a lot of folks were in there. But
How many folks watched Alison Hunt last night? I want to know. Well, folks, we lent Alison our bell over the weekend. We said, Alison, take the bell, ring the bell how much you want it. And also, we're going to name Alison program on the weekend In the Ring Sundays. In the Ring weekends. How many of you watched Alison last night?
But there were two different sets of live going on during the course of the weekend. There was another one before that was more personal.
Which one?
I saw
Alison?
No, there was another one. I think it was on Saturday.
Who
There
was
was a
the person?
high-speed chase.
A high-speed chase?
Kind of, guys.
Well, I think
Facebook users,
Alison's
you know what went on.
live last night was a follow-up to
Oh.
that. May have been a follow-up because it was a lengthy a diatribe against Kunchi. Is it Kunchi?
Well, it's the same.
Pepper.
No, well, it's the same thing
Well,
because.
they were one falling on the other.
Oh well, my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
Listen.
what transpired in the high speed chase?
Well, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Luckily, I think that but I did.
What have you learned since?
But since I have learned that
For
it
the
was
people, it's
for the
for y'all,
folks
not for me, it's for
looking,
y'all.
for the folks looking, I know that social media could be it could be brutal.
Go on.
That's what I can say about that. And based on the commentary that I've been following online, I'm made to understand that the live was done by this guy Kunchi. I think that's what the name
Miss
he goes
Pepper.
by. Correct. And it was more of a personal issue that actually got to that point.
What's the personal issue?
So what
It's getting rough.
that got to that point. But what I can say, let me say this: sometimes I see people in relationships. A lot of times tempers flare, and all of those things happen. And we try our best not to get it to that point that. You often say that in school. Sharon often say, listen, I'm taking my words carefully this morning. I'm not going to be set up. Sharon often said that when he was studying communication studies, they always teach him that you give the news and you don't become the news.
Correct.
And this is one of the instances when I saw like that, and I understand. I must say that I understand. We're all human beings, and things can get to us, but we have to have that driving force that says, yes, separate what you do publicly from your private life altogether.
Correct.
Hence, you don't know who John Doe is because I take it as a duty to separate my private from my public.
Until it's just public. Until it's a high speed chase.
No, we're not going to go there.
But in the whole, relationships are difficult.
It is, yes.
And I think we have to give people, public people and otherwise, there's space to have lives outside of the public glare. But the other side is also true. Once you step out to be a public figure, we love that. We love the accolades. We love the likes.
Everything is public.
We love the likes and the share. Then everything becomes public.
Gosh.
That is the downside of it. But relationships are difficult. And I don't think anybody's relationships are immune from certain things. I think all relationships run a certain course. They deal with money. They deal with fidelity. They deal with security. They deal with every single relationship.
And that's
touches
what I
those
was
things.
thinking.
But just how we deal with them individually.
Correct. Everybody deals with it, and people deal with things differently. And then we just hope that as public figures, we don't get to that point that you tip over and you actually just start venting publicly.
Yeah. You know, many mornings I talk my wife out of posting some things on Facebook.
But listen,
you know many mornings.
But listen, I think that the commentary that comes in after, even us discussing right, is because it's in the public sphere. And it's unnecessary. It brings unnecessary additional issues to the problem, whatever the problem.
Yeah, but the bright side is you could use that as a chance to whether you go forward in what you do publicly or you take a pause and you reassess and you can grow from it. If you allow it to teach you, you can grow from it.
Yeah. So I can say that I understand the entire situation.
I missed a lot over the weekend. Like
I understand the situation, and I have a lot of empathy on both sides. I could see as a woman, I have an empathy, and then I see I saw the emotions and all of that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of empathy on both sides, but we hope that situation is ironed out a lot more privately and a lot more amicably.
Yeah. But that being said, Alison Hunt took over the ring last night, and
you take it from there.
Alison had the bell, and I was ringside last night. I had my popcorn and my cokes. I was just taking it all in as entertainment. I was ringside last night, folks, with my popcorn and my cokes. Watching on.
I see Sharon Forrester saying Sharon Auntie Alo rang you in.
Yeah. Alison had the ring. She was master the ring last night. She had the bell, everything. I was just on the sidelines, ringside, in the Coliseum.
This is great.
In the Coliseum. But guys, we're happy that you guys are here. And of course, we wish, persons involved in this situation, this entanglement, as Rita says, that it is resolved amicably and perhaps privately. We give people space to have their private lives.
Yeah, most definitely. We wish them all the best. We wish them well.
That being said, the weather, I think we had the weather already. The guys put the weather. It's more relevant this morning than any other morning. Because again, as we said, it's raining cats and dogs. They're telling us it is 24 degrees outside. I'm certain they're going to tell us it feels like 28, but it actually feels like 24 this morning. It actually
Well,
feels
I saw Warren
just 24.
actually said Warren Figueres is actually
Who's
hot
Warren Figueres?
in New York. No, he's one of the viewers.
Oh,
On
Warren is
Facebook.
one of the viewers? Oh, fantastic. I
He
thought you knew
says
him personally.
it's hot in New York.
Hot
this
in New
morning.
York. Wow. Which part of New York you are, Warren? Which part of New York?
Well, you all in Warren's business. But whilst we await that,
Come to Guyana, Warren.
commentary.
It's pretty cool here. If you want cool weather, Warren, come to Guyana.
As we go into the morning trends. this morning-
Yeah. What's trending?
As we go
Why
into
are
the
you
morning.
hurrying into the morning trend? I'm in the middle of something here. Go ahead.
As we go into the morning trend this morning, we're still being monitoring the situation, following closely the situation between Russia and Ukraine and the war that is happening there. So this we're learning that over the weekend that Putin called for Ukraine to surrender, basically. So that's one of the first bit of news we're having now.
Interesting. I thought by now with the kind of superior military force that Russia has, that Ukraine might have been surrendering on its own without being called to surrender, but apparently Ukraine has put up quite a resistance.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting look at it all together. But I see that it's not. I think it was an unexpected fight being put up by Ukraine that has that has the situation right where it is right now. And so a lot of commentary coming out from international media that's saying a lot of persons don't know what Putin is going to do next, because apparently he himself, they believe, has not decided what to do next, because there you have Ukraine so tiny in the case of military strength and all that as compared to Russia, and they decided that they are going to take up arms, everyone, and fight, because they are fighting for their sovereignty altogether, and that's what we see, the safety in that.
Correct. And I think I saw some commentary by Marco Rubio over the weekend that suggested Putin is cornered in a sense. He wouldn't want to be embarrassed by a defeat here.
Yes.
And then the only other option is to escalate.
Yes.
To escalate what's happening here. And
I was just about to say that, because a defeat, I don't know.
based on
Yeah.
his character, his persona, he wouldn't want that at all. So the other thing to do is escalate it, and escalation means, in some people's books, some of the pundits and commentators, that there's going to be a use of nuclear.
Yeah, because to say defeat, I think Russia's strength has not been put, if I dare say, when
Correct.
it comes to the fight with Ukraine yet. So to say that it's almost impossible for us to measure the depth of the damage that could be done if the full strength of Russia actually goes
But
in.
the other side is also true. The deeper Russia gets in, I mean, Russia could not, I am certain, envisage the kind of universal support for Ukraine.
But not only that, the amount of sanctions being put on so far, the Russian economy is suffering terribly from all of that. And
pundits use the word free fall.
Yeah.
It's in free fall.
So this action that was put in there by Putin actually has caused Russia to go back years of development and economic development that they've had altogether.
Well, if you want to play bad,
well,
you want to go to war.
But on that same note, I
want
think,
to bamba?
The second trend that we have again coming out of Russia is that Putin offers evacuation route to Russia. So there you had a lot of attempts being made when it comes to the ceasefire for persons that wanted to evacuate from Ukraine to actually move over, and those talks have failed over and over. So now Russia is actually offering that they're offering evacuation routes to Russia, to only Russia. So there you have persons in Ukraine trying to run from Russia.
Interesting.
In Ukraine, and they are being offered a safe path to evacuate to Russia. I don't know how that is going to work out, but according to BBC, is that Ukraine is angry with that specific move by Putin.
Very interesting. What else we have in the morning trend today?
Well,
very interesting, folks.
One of the things that we're looking at right about now is the report from the ILO that actually says millions of women in Latin America and the Caribbean out of work due to the pandemic.
Which I think goes to what you said earlier on, Julia, that it's so I don't want to say burdensome, but you have a lot on your plate as a mother, parliamentarian. You host this program, the other stuff that you do as well, and that has been very taxing. And then you couple that with a pandemic, and I
Yeah.
mean, if you're the main breadwinner for your family, as you know, lots of cases women are, you can understand the stress and strain if you're
People,
retrenched, you sent home because of the pandemic.
but not only that part, I don't think people understand actually what, I don't think people fully understand how much has changed with the pandemic, especially when it comes to the role of women. I mean, we have this talk about equality and gender roles and all of these things is a universal discussion, but when it comes to the pandemic, and what happened is that usually women are go out and work. Obviously, you have children, you have to have caregivers for those children. You would take them to, if they're little, they have to go to daycares and schools. And so the pandemic closed all daycares, closed all schools, all right? So now you had women that went out normally to work, that either had children in school, older children in school, or had children at the daycare level. They were left to basically take care of the children at home themselves. So some of them even had to willingly leave their jobs themselves,
Yeah,
and
and
that is the reality of it.
even to bring that closer to home, one of the things I've always been hopeful of is that we would do more studies, we would have more real time information,
Yeah.
unemployment rate, the
Yeah.
employment rate, and this could border on what we're discussing now: how many women are employed, how many men are employed, and it gets graver because when you think about the promise that was made, for instance, to open back the sugar industry and lots of expectation. Right? I hope a lot of people didn't go borrowing a whole set of money and doing stuff, maybe to the homes and buying stuff and so on and credit. Hopeful that the sugar industry is going to be open, they can get money and so on,
It was a
back
lie.
pay and all, and back pay and
It
all
was a
that, and then
lie. I said it
so
over and over again. The promise that those
yeah,
industries will be open. It was a lie.
yeah.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else to put to
Yeah,
that.
and time is revealing, and that
Yeah.
time is proving that to be true as the days and the weeks go on, folks. But again, this study from the ILO, the International Labour Organization, says that lots of women, and particularly you view that in view of the fact, or you view that against the backdrop that tomorrow is International Women's Day. It's all the more reason to not only have pictorials and photo opportunities, but to see what real measures can be brought to bear to alleviate some of the hardships
Yeah.
that are going to be brought on women. Because the more and more we progress, and the more and more women are out of work, and the more and more families don't have enough, the more and more dire things become.
Most definitely, and I think that the whole focus on women tomorrow, we should be looking at the important role that women have been playing, and not just the important role, but a change in role over time. We the women had the generation. I'm just gonna. This is a very contentious matter, but for me personally, I believe strongly in gender roles, and when it comes, especially when it comes to the family, and because of that, I take it. Although I'm out there, I work all the time. Being a political person, you have to work 24/7. I do everything that I need to get done when it comes to my parliamentary responsibility and all of those things. But key for me personally is my role as a mother, my role as a spouse. I take those things as primary focus because I believe that it is embedded in my DNA for me to be able to be that nurturer, that caregiver more than anyone else. So I know persons have this a contentious matter, so persons could disagree with my view freely, but I view my role as that, as a woman, very that foundation setter for children, and so as the key role that I have and responsibility that I have in life. So everything else that I do have to come with that balance, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
evolvement of the role of women over time. I believe a lot of time women take it, as some women, and I don't agree with that, take it as, oh well, they're out working, so they don't have to be doing this and doing that. I think it is very necessary for us women, for us to have that unique balance.
And I
Yes,
would
we
say
can go out
women
and do
and
it.
men too. Women and men too, because in lots of instances, men believe because I'm out working, I don't need to do anything in the house.
No, but
Whether
definitely
it's
not.
physical chores or it is fathering and being an active part of a child's life,
It
and,
has to be a
and it has
balance.
to be a balance. I dare say for men too, it has
Yeah.
to be a balance. And too many fathers are absent. Too many fathers. We got to correct that. Too many fathers are absent. That's why we say fight for the family. I was talking with the mother of the student who was tapped from Golden Grove Secondary School just yesterday on our podcast. It's still on our Facebook pages. You guys can go back and listen to it if you didn't have a chance to. And here is a mother, just like you, out there fighting for her boys, fighting for her children. Too often we give up, right, on our children. Too often fathers give up not only in children, give up in the whole family. We got to fight for our family. We got to fight for our children, and we have that balancing role as a politician, as host for programs and that kind of stuff. Being out here in social media, I got to go home and spend equal time with my family. Right? I got to go home and spend time with my wife. I got to make sure I spend time with my son. Right? I'm putting the work with the other children that I have to. Right? That you are a present part of their life. Right? You know what's happening.
But we keep saying, we talk about the war in Russia and Ukraine, and we made the point that these persons didn't just evolve. They're not aliens. They just drop here. And then a mother nurtured these people. A mother nurtured Putin. A mother nurtured Zelensky. And all the leaders. Right? So I take that to say that we often talk about these people in the world, these world leaders, these influencers, and all of these things. But mothers need to realize that whenever you give birth to a child, that you have this reason, and not even give birth to a child, because there are a lot of persons that are mothering children that they didn't give birth to, but they are phenomenal mothers as well, through adoption processes and all of these things. But we as women, we have that super important responsibility to nurture the future. And that's what we're doing all the time.
An active role. Yes. Active. And I dare say, especially in Guyana, we gotta fight for those kids. I was so happy yesterday. Unmotivated from me, my big son who lives overseas called and said, "Daddy, could we watch a movie together?"
Yes.
And thanks to technology, we can do that because we have we got Disney Plus. Disney should send us a check at the end of the month. And Disney Plus allows you to synchronize a movie in different places, and so you can watch as a group the same movie in real time because it syncs the movie in every place. And we were able to watch a movie. But by the time we got halfway through it, he was disinterested in the movie. And he said, "Dad, could we finish this later on?" I said, "Cool." Cool. I was so happy about that. He wanted to spend some time. Yeah, I did.
Exactly. So we encourage both men and women out there to make sure that you balance your life.
Balance is needed.
Take your
both men and women. Balance is needed.
Take all of your responsibilities very, very seriously. Make sure that you can have friends and all of those things, but family comes first. I think family should come first to everyone.
Yeah.
But Cheryl, we have so much going on in our country right now as we speak. And
yes. A lot of stuff going on. Folks, we always say in our program, wherever you guys join us from, share. That's one of the responsibilities you have, and you got to smash that emoji button as well. Smash, or if you want to do it with more finesse.
I think Cheryl get a little rusty.
Or you want to share the live stream. Guys, it's important. We want as many persons to get what we say is valid and credible information. And we got some other issues we want to discuss with you. Morning Trend.
Sue
is back. Sue is back in the headlines. Yep.
Apparently, Sue holds mining permits for over 40,000 acres.
Yep.
And this is
and here we pick it up on some reporting from Sabbath News.
Yes.
But we had dealt with lots of this initially when we carried this story with the history of Sue's holdings, what he was interested in. And I'm happy to see Sabbath News catching up.
Well, I see people catching up slowly with it because I would tell persons that if people are to go back to your initial coverage of the whole story with Sue, you actually spelled out in detail all that he did from the very inception.
Because we got some good researchers here with us. And folks, I find a way we can plug it now. Every cent you send to us, this is what it goes to do. We ain't just coming out here and talking things off the top of our head. There's a team behind us helping us to put this information together for you, for your consumption, because being informed is so important. Being informed is so tremendously important.
And I am so happy to see the news media, the print press, like you rightly said, actually bringing these things forward, because it's absolutely important for us to actually get a sense of the whole picture, just not fragmented parts of it all together, but to get a sense of the whole picture and the level at which this individual is integrated into business in our country altogether.
Right? Sue in a lot of things. Into a lot of things.
Yeah,
folks.
so
into a lot of things.
Who knows?
40,000 acres. Folks, some of struggling to get a half acre. Right? Some struggling to get a quarter acre. Still got 40,000 mining permits for over 40,000 acres.
And Guyanese, and I come from the mining town of Bartica, where it is so difficult for Guyanese to actually own mining permits like that. You know, the guy born and raised Guyanese that wants to go into the mining industry don't have that sort of leverage when it comes to the mining sector. And there you have someone, a foreigner, to be quite frank, with holding over 40 acres of mining permit. And I dare say that this is just one a little bit of the many business
You know the
areas
hassle
Sue
the
is
average
involved
Guyanese
in.
go through to get a permit. You know the hassle,
Have you ever
the
seen
fight down.
have you seen the lotters when lotters are actually pulled for mining claims and stuff like that? There's a lot of people lined up there trying to get a little piece, and then they have to. The lottery system is in such a way, and sometimes you get the piece of mining claim that they actually pull that is behind somewhere that there's no access point to go to, and
Yeah.
all sorts of things. That's a struggle, and
Interesting too. I remember, I don't know if it was mining lands, but I know there was a report in the media that when the PPP lost the last election in the final days, Irfan Ali had granted Bar Jagdio a whole host of land lease, because you know Irfan was the former minister of housing, or Irfan, sorry, Jagdio granted Irfan, no, was Ramachar who granted. Who was president? This Ramachar was president. Wasn't Jagdio's president?
and I go
The guys are correcting us in the back here.
clarifying
Right?
his
Jagdio
story
wasn't
right
president,
now.
so Jagdio couldn't grant anybody unless he was granted. But
Yeah.
somebody was granted. Of the three, Ramachar, Jagdio, and Irfan, they were granted use concessions of land.
Well, the thing is about it, we often speak about we often speak about. I'm speaking to you, Parliament is being calling my phone all the time.
Not today, devil.
So
Not today, Satan.
no, but I think when I read that headline about Sue Hall's mining permit for 40,000 acres, it brought Mia Motley's words back to me when she was talking about Guyanese becoming, what was the word she used? Tenants in their own land.
Yeah.
Because here we have
Talking
a foreigner actually in owning that amount of mining permit, and we have Guyanese born and raised, like I said, struggling. They're just working haphazardly when it comes to the mining sector altogether. So I feel very passionately about that particular matter because that is close. That is not just close to home. That is home for me, right? That is home. So
yeah. So Sue is back in the headlines. He made the cover of yesterday's Starbucks News. Again, that was the headline. Sue holding mining permits over 40,000. But we're happy that we did our homework here too. We weren't surprised that Starbucks News catch you. What else is on the trend?
We see Dr. Vincent Adams. He's been saying a lot over time. You know, over the past month or so, Dr. Vincent Adams has been clarifying a lot of things. And we're picking up here that Dr. Vincent Adams proved that the LISA 2 permit was not violated.
True.
So that is one of the things that we're picking up right now.
Yeah. So Dr. Adams is saying that part of the granting of the permit, part of the criteria you have to satisfy is that you have to have insurance, and you have to produce evidence of that from the parent company of the insurer.
Yes.
Right? And he's saying that they're in breach, LISA 2 is in breach of their permit because they don't have insurance, in fact. And if they do, he's calling on them to publish it.
One thing we have learned, we've been saying about Dr. Vincent Adams, is that he knows what he's talking about. And that is one of the things that I think that was the key reason that he was removed from being the head of the EPA, because he is the best at what he does. I mean, and I've often said that he worked with the Obama administration, and that is his field. He knows exactly how to deal with these things.
Qualified. You know? This isn't conferred doctorate. Not conferred, we call it. Not the one you study for, the other PhDs that they give.
The honorary.
Honorary PhD, honorary doctorate, and so on. No, he studied for his own.
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
And study these here, oil, gas, and petroleum engineering, and so on. Fantastic,
so
brother.
one of the things that I could note also about Dr. Adams is that there has never been one thing that he said that he did not provide of facts to. He said this is the evidence, this is the data that supports his
Mm-hmm.
claim. And a lot of times we see persons coming back trying to actually dispute what he is saying without a shred of evidence, without the data to support what they're saying. And there he came back again and he says,
Yeah.
no, this is
Yeah.
not it. This is the evidence. And,
Yeah.
and he there asks, well, I think it's a challenge that if there's any other bit of evidence, just produce it.
It's all about the data, folks.
Yeah.
All about the data. That's why we pride ourselves in trying to give you the news that's credible and valid. News that is credible and valid.
Yeah,
It's all about the data.
so the critique and the way in which he was criticized altogether, it was not with merit. Basically, what he's saying is that this is a fact, and he's asking, and I dare say that he's correct about what he's saying. Just present the evidence to go against what he is saying, and so we're gonna wait to see if any bit of those evidence would be ever presented. But we've been
Don't hold your
seeing.
breath.
I'm not gonna do that.
Don't hold your breath, Teresa. Don't hold your breath. What else we got in the morning?
Well, when we're talking about the critics and so forth, it comes back to the fact that the government has been well, we're seeing that the government has launched a coordinated attack on critics altogether.
And the whole term coordinated attacks we took from one of the morning papers, because it said very, very clearly over the weekend, based on the fact that one, no government likes criticism, but PPP makes an art form of it. They brought out Sonia Parag, they brought out some other folks, Priya Manik Chan. The president himself came out talking about what they're doing and so on. You know, whatever you do, government's supposed to do. If you think you are elected, there are certain things that go with governance, whether you have it in your manifesto or not.
Correct.
Right? Lights, water, roads, whether it's in your manifesto or not. Those things are entitlements of the people, right? Any you could say it could be deemed as a natural right, a human right, right? There are entitlements, healthcare. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we are giving good healthcare. You're supposed to do that, or else why are you receiving the money?
Why are you collecting?
Why are you collecting the salary? You're wasting time. But there are a number of things that this administration has been not doing. As a matter of fact, in the very press conference I think they held yesterday, they deflected answering the question on when they're opening back the East Demerara estate, sugar estate, and Skeldon estate. Now, if you promise, y'all like talk about manifesto and so on, right? In your manifesto, you're going to open it back. They say now, oh, they got to wait with some meeting with Guatemala on some hope for deal with Guatemala to see whether those estates would be sustainable. That's not what you tell the people, though.
It's well
Answer the one back my bell. That's not what we tell the people. We say we're going to open it back when we get into office. No, sir. Let me just drink my little tea here, man.
None of them will be reopened. They're going to drag it out. They're going to continue to kick the can down the road. They're going to grow it. They're going to continue to brutally, blatantly lie to persons that they're trying everything in their power to actually see if they can open it back. It's a lie. There is nothing more to that. It will not happen. They're going to continue to drag you along to the very last, and then they're going to it's going to be gone to the highest bidder.
Yep. And we've been articulating here, folks, as you guys share the live stream and you smash the emoji button so all people get valid and credible information just like you. We've been articulating here about the breaking down of the guardrail of democracy.
I think we should actually put that together.
Which is lots of the institutions, the commissions, the entities that go as safeguards to our rights. They go as checks and balances, as what do you call it? As a measure, right, of how the government is performing as a supervisory body to keep the executive in check in some instances.
That is the democracy.
They have not been institutionalized 2 years later. And people who have just come forward and point that out, right? There was this quote unquote coordinated attack.
Yes.
Against, quite striking, right? Now you have the seat, you have the helm. It was easy to do it when you were in opposition, but now you have the helm. And you know what these organizations would have been called a couple months ago, 18 months ago? 20 months ago, they would have been called guardians of democracy if they had voiced an opinion against the APNU AFC government. The people would have called them guardians of democracy. Now you're in the seat.
They're naysayers.
They are naysayers. They are critics. They don't want to see the country develop. Nonsense. Everybody wants to see the country develop. Every single person. But it's how we go about doing it. We might have differences with. And if you do it in a way that is not in keeping with good governance and transparency,
you will be called out.
Who you want to agree with you when everybody know Premiere, as long as we know we self as Guyanese, it's PPP. Mama, don't let me hide it. Right? It's PPP. And for the EITI, the Guyana chapter of the EITI, the Extractive Industry Watchdog, it's going to be headed by a PPP person. It's cat looking milk, right? Nobody said we hate Dr. Prem Bazir. We don't like him as a person, but we got to call the thing for what it was, right? It is cat looking milk, and Prem Bazir is PPP. He was their pro-chancellor at the university. He was their man, I think was chairman of the board of NCN, but part of the media establishment for years. For years. Now you want people to see Prem Bazir as an independent man. He's not even qualified in the industry, right? The extractive industry, no part of it. And now you want to see, oh, look what's happening here. But again, you know what I love? I love that it seems that the Daily News, they are catching up with us because we made the point in our program, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that this is nonsense. To say that people who never, this is another limb that the current administration jump on. Oh, y'all never criticize the 2020 general and regional elections, the protracted period, and you know all the other nonsense, all the other adjectives that they want to use. So y'all can't talk now. And to see a newspaper like Starbucks News, for instance, saying that is nonsense. That is utter nonsense. Not because you did not criticize something in the past, means it has no bearing. Now you have no right to criticize something now. And again, Starbucks News, like we did days ago, said when PPP ruled 23 years, they did a lot of nonsense. And you tell me if somebody didn't criticize them now, they don't have a right to criticize, didn't criticize them then. They didn't have a right to criticize them now. It is like saying if you don't criticize now, you don't have no right to criticize 3 years from now or 5 years from now. It's madness. That's not the one Guyana. And again, folks, this is not us here. Starbucks News, if you read Starbucks News editorial from yesterday's people, it is titled Critics. No pun intended. But basically, Starbucks News call the government hypocrites. Because they said, y'all always talking about one Guyana, but yet y'all divide it into critics and naysayers and people who like y'all and people who don't like y'all and organizations who is one-man organization, who's two-man organization. And I think one of the important points Starbucks News made, right, is you cannot, part of being critical is you got to look at the germane issue. Right? Talk about one-man organization or two-man or no man. Don't divorce themselves from the criticisms that is being made. Have you dealt with the veracity of the criticism? And the PP hasn't done that over the weekend. This coordinated attack was against the human rights body.
Yes.
Never had elections in a long time. Who's vote for them? And host, they go off. As again saying, okay, you have said we have not, we were not independent with the person we chose for EITI. Here's how we were independent. They didn't deal with that at all. Right? Now they can come and say, critics of the sugar industry, when you were offered an opportunity to comment, as they were over the weekend, what y'all doing in sugar? We didn't see y'all open back nothing yet. What happened? They go off and talk about something else. And then when you come and say they aren't transparent, they say, oh, you're a naysayer, you're a critic, you want development. Interesting.
Well, if you were to go and actually and to look at the different countries around the world and the way in which they govern, there's only one type of system that you cannot critique the government, and that is a dictatorial system. It's only in a dictatorial system that you're not allowed to critique the government, and persons are thrown in jail for simply critiquing policies and actions of the government. So when we see and we hear of those bit of comments coming out of the persons in Guyana in the leadership chair sitting there, then we beg the question as to where are we going. If anyone is to go independently, you can go yourself and research and do a bit of that. I often tell people to go and research for yourself. Just don't take it from us, and see what type of country and government do not allow persons to criticize what they're saying.
You know, it's interesting that Rita should say that, because again, Starbucks News yesterday's editorial ends in this way. And again, this is not us. We are very uncontroversial people here. We just come with the facts. It
Very
says
much so.
it says there is a lesson to be learned from Russia. Although no one is suggesting for a moment that its extreme nature has any implications here. But in terms of principle involved, Vladimir Putin sat alone in the Kremlin for 2 years, thinking that his own thoughts, and only advised by officials who think like him. See, he was thinking his own thoughts, and he was advised by people who are yes men, right? And the editorial says finally, and the consequences of that have been tragic. All our politicians have still to learn the art of engaging critics and heeding contrary advice, whether President Ali deems it constructive or not. Take that. Drink some tea now. Take that.
Starbucks News is completely in order with what was being said there, and that is I couldn't say it no better way myself. They are in order, and that is the fact. And I dare say that you cannot go like the people did and prior to 2020, and they were encouraging people to speak up against and this and that. They went to the point that they even made comments to persons that given words at certain meetings that they had. They said chase them out, you know. Basically,
wasn't one Guyana then?
Empowering
wasn't one Guyana then?
to the people, you know, more power to the people. And now when they are sitting in the seats, they're like, how dare you speak up against us? You know, same set of people that said chase them out, you know, and all of those things. The same set of people today don't even want persons to raise their voices in dissent of their actions.
Interesting. But going with that is a new segment that we have. What he said, what she said, what they said. Interesting quotes that we see out there. And Ralph Ramkaran in yesterday's column dealt again with the same issue of critics and more broadly civil society. And his quote, what he said, was interesting. He said, civil society bodies can play a major role in improving Guyanese life, not only in areas of transparency and accountability, but in other areas not having as much sex appeal, and in which the government can play a major facilitating role. So here is what he was defining as some of the areas, and civil society has played a part in terms of advocating for transparency and democracy. Clearly, this administration don't like it. But he went on to talk about, for instance, on the issue of road safety. This isn't something that the government has to grapple with. But if a body comes up that wants to focus on road safety and advocating for road safety and doing this kind of meaningful work that is needed, the government should find ways to fund them and support them and not step in. And a critical point that Ramkaran made is that lots of entities and initiatives like this, like Help and Shelter and so on, can thrive, can be successful, but government needs to not be interventionist.
Correct.
Right? Support them financially and perhaps otherwise, right? But don't intervene. Don't want to you want on the Help and Shelter board, 9 out of 10 people must be PP people.
Yeah.
That's not going to work to the success of the organization and distracts from the work that they do. So that was an important point that Ralph Ramkaran was making over the weekend. And that's what he said.
On another note, and I must say that Ralph Ramkaran is absolutely correct. And one of the things that I think, even when it comes to road safety, like you were saying, if a civil society group actually comes up and is formed, even to probably one of those that are already existing can deal with those matters. But even if a new group is formed just to deal with road safety, and especially the way in which buses and taxis and those things use the roadways and so forth, then they will be doing justly to what is going on, the road carnage, what is going on in our country right now. So those things need to be dealt with. So
and
the establishment.
On that television, Village Voice has been following the numbers and said to us, 15 persons lost their lives on the road already for this year.
March?
15
Oh, we're
persons.
only at the 7th.
I think we had that on the morning trend.
I'm not sure.
Well, FYI, 15 persons for the year. This is according to Village Voice over the weekend. I think we have that with us here. Yep, 15 persons lost. And we've been talking about this. You guys know that on our program religiously, talking about what's happening on the road and the need for us to arrive alive, to slow down and all of that. Yes, 15 road deaths thus far for this year. Yep. So, guys, again, we use the opportunity to say, slow down on the road, take your time, and let us arrive alive. And just over the weekend, too, we saw that Juan Ejil, Minister of Public Works, used to be Ministry of Infrastructure, was bemoaning the carnage on the road. And according to the report, says Islam reckless road use. Well, the government has its role to play there too.
Correct.
Right? Adequate signage, good roads, policemen who are not out there looking to make a bread, but actually doing the work of traffic police and all that. When you stumble on a good, courteous, professional traffic police, it is such a breath of fresh air, such a breath of fresh air. But we salute all of the traffic policemen that are out there. We know that is not it's a thankless job in many instances, but we got to do the work nonetheless. 15 road deaths, and that's what we have been tracking.
As we move forward, you know, one of the things that caught my attention yesterday was Ali, none other than Irfan Ali, saying that he hopes to meet with the marijuana farmers.
Mm-hmm.
So that
after I saw some antics from the president over the weekend, I thought the president was actually on something. I said, the man, he on something. I think we have some video coming out of a press conference with Irfan Ali, yes, and then we will come back to the marijuana farm. It'll have better context then. Take a listen, take a look.
Look at the duplicity, right? When we had the nomination for the chair of GCOM, remember what it said? Look at one name, Christopher Ram was not fit and proper. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Oh no, the same very people saying Mr. Christopher Ram is fit and proper. That is why I'm telling you, agenda.
Man, I wish our guys had set up the video, what's that? Horizontally, vertically, to see the full body language, the antics, you know, the full body language. The man was on something yesterday. He was on something yesterday. Folks, if you're now joining us, if you're still with us, haven't had a chance to share the broadcast, yes, please do so. Smash that emoji button for us. The guy had to have been on something.
You know, it's still a bit more.
Can understand why he wants to meet with the hemp farmers.
You know, I think, Sher, I'm going to leave this for our affiliate program in the ring this evening. But, you know, as we're looking there, that is the PVP's president, basically coming out as the PVP. And we, yesterday was actually the 25th death anniversary of Dr. Chedi Jagan. Yesterday, and we saw that
clearly not a solemn occasion with the antics of it.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You know, on the 25th death anniversary of Dr. Chedi Jagan, here we have 2022 year finale,
running from transparency, running from accountability. You know, Chedi must be somersaulting in his grave. You know, wow, this is interesting. 25th, but you know, respect and manners to Dr. Chedi Jagan. A lot of things we can learn from him as a man on the other side of the political aisle from where we sit. But definitely, we can learn a couple of things from Chedi Jagan, a man who understood struggles, a man who understood that you don't one Cadillac in a donkey cart economy.
Yeah.
Right? Basically. And that's what them boys got in there. So he would have been backflipping in his. As a matter of fact, I remember in one of his daughters writing against the administration, PP administration, about their excessiveness, their wealth and their opulence. But you know, I saw Mr. Jagjo back then say that Chedi Jagan, by today's standard, would have been living an opulent life back in whenever, because he had a house in Bel Air. Well, Chedi Jagan didn't have no mansion.
Exactly.
Right? And Chedi Jagan lived a very, for all intents and purposes, a simple life. A simple life. And lots of people know that the PVP has moved away from Chedi Jagan's ideal.
I don't even think...
It's a Jagjo ideal, right? Which is in keeping with Sue.
Yeah, but I don't even think there is actually effort to act by the current PPP and the persons there to safeguard any bit of the policies that he worked so dearly towards. So I think I see efforts
Which
to
always
done
focus on the
away.
grassroots.
Correct. I see efforts to actually done away with all that he worked for. I mean that is Chet Jagan, he was
Yep, yep, yep,
his
yep, yep.
legacy should have
But
remained.
respect to Dr. Jagan. Would have been his. This is his rather 25th um, death anniversary, and again, who we can still learn much from. Much from as a people, as a culture, as a political, as a body politic. There's still a lot that we can learn from Chili Jack. Respect and manners,
Correct.
right? And folks, are we there? You went ticket.
We're almost there,
You
but
went
one
ticket.
of the things I know that Sherrod has been speaking a lot as to the mangroves and the clearing of the mangroves. I see Exxon actually replanting some mangroves
Yep, 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 yep,
that was
yep. Well, if
cleared.
you move it, you're supposed to plant it back. I know what you want me to do.
So kudos
Being
to
a
you,
spread
Sherrod.
kudos, go,
So
go,
kudos to you, Sherrod,
Yeah,
for
thank
actually, because I believe that if you don't call persons and this, and I want to make the point right now that this specifically, this action here for Exxon to replant the mangroves that they clear for the fiber optic cable, I believe that is because persons have been so vocal on the removal of the mangroves altogether.
Listen to me.
And if persons did not speak up, those very critics, if they did not speak up, then they would have not been doing what they're doing
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, critics make the world a better place, right? But you see, if you don't,
No pun intended.
not critics. All
Oh
right.
my goodness.
I got buy a dictionary from Austin's. But that being said, if you don't treat your country properly, nobody will treat it properly. If people come and they see you treat the environment haphazard, they will treat it so.
Yeah.
Right? It's like parents, it's like a family. If people see you treat your children anyhow, you treat your spouse anyhow, right? They can you treat your home anyhow. They can treat it anyhow too. If you value, that is why. Let me go on the other side. You often see when people go to the States,
Yes.
they fall in line with how people treat the environment, with the garbage,
The
right?
drive-in.
The drive-in. Why? Because you look and see how people treat the country, and you fall in line. Right? Same thing here. You come and you see people operate in a certain way, and you fall in line. You fall in line. Yeah.
And so we continue.
How you can
what
move the whole
persons-
mangrove?
and not see anything wrong with that, right? So on that note, we encourage persons to continue to speak up against anything that you see that is wrong. Make sure that you are that voice of accountability. Don't see
Yeah.
yourself as a critic, but see yourself as a voice of accountability, because that's what you are. You are holding the officials accountable for what they do in the society with the taxpayers' dollars. This is not their own money, they're spending the people's money. And as such, we encourage persons to continue to hold them accountable. That's how we refer to you.
I thought it was their money.
Right.
FYI to me. FYI.
But
Yep.
it's the month of March.
It's the month of March,
and
folks.
we're continuing to celebrate women.
What are we going to say? Share the live stream and smash the emoji button. But even better.
We're continuing to celebrate women and the accomplishments of women in today's society, women
Mhm.
that are being the trailblazers. And one of the person actually that we want to look at today is the Honorable Mia Motley, the Prime
Oh,
Minister
Mia!
of
My
Barbados.
favorite auntie. My favorite auntie, Mia. Mia has really grown in stature. And this is one of the reasons why I think we highlighting Mia as a person of interest today. She has grown in stature. The longer we see her out here is the better she gets. We can't say the same of Irfan. Did I say that loud? Is my mic on? We can delete it later on. Can't say the same of Oliver. Mia Motley has grown on the world stage. Every time Mia speaks publicly, there is some little thing you can take away. Look how you refer to. What did she say when she was here? Don't become tenants
Correct.
in your own land. When you hear things that resonate with you because you've been thinking it, but you didn't know how to articulate it, right? You didn't have the vocabulary for it, but when you hear it, this is truth. Oh, it caused your spine to tingle. That's what happened with this nation when we heard that. Because we know we should be treated better. We know these resources should be redundant to our benefit.
Correct.
right? We know all of us should have a piece of the pie, right? Why you can't even get a 0.5 acre and Sue got 40,000, right? We know wrong when we see it. We instinctively, we are, I think, born and bred for equity. When you're young and you look at your plate, you say, how Jurita get a bigger piece of chicken than me, right? It's something that is inbred in you for equity, for equality. And then you say, well, she is the big sister. She cooked the food. You don't matter. Right? But it's something that's instinctive. And when Mia said it, it resonated. When Mia stood on the world stage and said, chastise all them trench crappos in the US, right?
And not those words.
And the Tagabats. She said, you're talking about the environment, right? And the Caribbean hands tied. Y'all are giving us the tools. We doing most of the work. Y'all getting most of the benefit, right? And we come here, the major polluters didn't even show up.
Correct.
Right? It's something that needed to be said. And when we see we girl, thank you, guys. When we see we girl on the world stage, right, articulating our concerns and our fears, our hopes and aspirations, we rise with her.
Yeah. So as we celebrate women, Mia Motley, I think she deserves the acknowledgement that has been given to her this morning, and she has been
personally
doing her bit, correct.
Personally for herself. As a politician, this woman walk away with 2 landslide victory. Not well, their legislature has 30 seats. Correct. This wasn't 17, 20 out of 30. 30 out of 30. All the seats twice. They said once is a fluke. That's what they were saying there. Leading up into the election, they said that was a fluke. You will not see that happen again, huh?
They said, hold up.
They said, hold on. Right? And Mia did it again. Much like Obama. When Obama won, they said that's a one-off thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's a one-off thing. It'll never happen again in history. And Obama held this coalition together. Walk away the next time again. 2-term president. How are you looking for you, Trump? Drink my tea.
Did you just say Trump?
How are you looking for you, Trump? Eh? How are you looking?
Shared is being his most devious self this morning, as usual.
I drink my little tea.
But we continue to celebrate women, and tomorrow is International Women's Day, and tomorrow we will be celebrating another woman.
Yes.
And we bring persons of merit because, as we often say, that we acknowledge strength, we acknowledge work that is being done.
Kudos to me, Marty. Right? A real example, strong example too.
And as we and as shared, we're looking at the big,
looking at the time.
issue this morning.
Yeah.
The big issue this morning.
Kudos, you're not hustling me. I want to say kudos to me, Marty. Don't take my time.
So,
kudos to me, Marty.
We're running a
and the guys hold on. The guy says smash the emoji button. I'm going to say like the emoji button. Smash the emoji button and share the broadcast so that others might benefit as well. I've gotten that in.
Okay.
Big issue. We taking me time. You don't worry. It's Monday. Easy like that.
It's Monday morning. But guys, when we're looking at the big issue, we continue to talk about big projects and big risks.
Man, you go criticize the people now. People don't like critics.
Well, I don't think they're going to like me at all.
You're a naysayer now.
But we're picking this up out of Kaiser News this morning, actually, when we're talking about, because Kaiser News front page this morning is looking at the government confirms Amelia Hydro project will not power Essequibo. Right, so he shared it.
Will it power?
Right.
So what are they doing with it? Like
it says that Barbies will benefit through the link to the Demerara system. And if we know as Guyanese, if we know anything, since the PVP came into power, is that the Demerara system.
That's the kind of tech we get right now.
Always shuts down every single time that there's a cascading shutdown. An accumulation of darkness. It is due to that. But basically, what it's saying here, I want to pick up directly what it's saying here. Amelia will supply electricity through Sapphire to the national grid for distribution, and this will include Borbies, which is already connected through that victim rara system. So basically, they were responding to the fact that I think Kaiser News had carried an article that said that they were not going to be pouring Essequibo and Borbis. So they came back and said that, well, Borbis is going to benefit through that interconnected system that always shuts down. However, Essequibo will not be benefiting from that project. So when you hear about this, the Myla Falls project, a lot of people think that it's going to bring an end to all the electricity woes. But again, here we're seeing that there is more. There's a lot more that you are
Just
yet to
don't
know.
throw a flambeau. That's all I say. Just don't throw a flambeau.
My goodness, it's crazy as it is, but there's so much. There's so much that we can learn from that, and also I believe we're picking up another issue.
But on that big issue, historically, and again, this has been covered widely in the press. The PPP, the current government, has not been good stewards of big projects. And from Skeldon and more, you name it, they have not been stewards of good projects. The fiber optic cable that Alexi Ramachar was managing, landing someplace, never happened. $5 billion gone down the drain. You name it. The big projects under the PPP has always been fraught with lots of corruption and lots of mismanagement.
But one of the things that, one of the things we can pinpoint and note from that is the fact that the reason why they have not been managing big projects properly is because they have been basically shutting out the experts in all of these areas, and you cannot expect just politicians, the ministers and so forth, to go out there that does not have the technical expertise in dealing with these matters to go out there and handle it. And so we see all of these direct meddling into the big projects and so forth, into all the projects, is what's costing them at this point, because they have basically removed the expert that can manage the projects efficiently, effectively, and now we have political people meddling that have absolutely no knowledge on what they should do, and that is what's costing them with these big projects altogether.
Agreed. And there's this one, and just by way of recap, if you joined one of our programs last week, we talked about this as well. You have, for instance, the Gas to Shore project, again fraught with its own setbacks, because here a lot of promises were made. Okay, we are going to open back Wales Estate as a sugar producing entity, but we're going to do a Gas to Shore project there. And then they said you're going to be able to do a lot of things with this gas and energy that's going to be created there. They talked about a fertilizer factory, a whole host of other stuff. And now you hear that's not going to happen. It's just basically power they're going to be producing there. So it's a power plant.
Yeah.
And then, you talked about opening back the sugar industry. Skeldon, with the amount of billions that has been poured into Skeldon.
They lied about opening back the sugar.
Sugar's going to be done there on a very small scale. So a lot of their projects have been fraught with a lot of things that really raise the eyebrows. Vincent Adams pointed out one, Dr. Vincent Adams. The oil and gas sector, you don't have insurance. Ring fencing is a concern. The royalty issue are a concern. Lots of issues there. And when you say to the government, these are the issues of the day, you get naysayer, critic, and all that. And then you can go back again to competencies of persons. Fipmoti Lal is synonymous with Amila Falls. And as long as there's a phrase, Amila Falls, you'll get that picture in your head with Fipmoti Lal. Much the same with the transparency body for the EITI. The Guyana chapter, you want professional people
but
to be heading up.
But they're removing that, right? Because that's Dr. I think Jadupat. That was removed.
Rudy Jadupat, yeah.
They removed him from the EITM. They removed Dr. Vincent Adams from the EPA.
The EPA
they continue to move the experts, and then when they move the experts, and like we've been saying, and putting in these political hacks, how do you expect them to succeed? They're going to keep failing, and the projects are going to fail. I don't see how they actually view this in the long term when it comes to their credibility altogether. Well, they have no credibility as it is, but I don't see how they plan on recovering from the state that they're in when it comes to actually accomplishing some of these benchmarks that they set for themselves, when they continue to put political lackeys in space where they should be having exports. And that is the issue that we're seeing right there.
Yeah, I think that says it all.
Yep.
That says it all. Yep. That says it all. Folks, it's been good having you here with us. the guys have told us that we've passed our time. But it's good to see
Bye.
so many of you with us. Folks like Sheena Hazel. Folks, before you go, as you prepare to go, if you haven't done it as yet, share. Am I doing it vigorously?
Yes.
And smash the emoji button.
You had
folks.
that tea.
Smash the emoji button for us. Share the live program. Share our program. Share our morning program. FYI. Share the podcast when we run at 12 and share in the ring as well when we're on. But share FYI now, folks, for us. And smash that emoji button. Good having so many of you here.
Yes, Sherry, I see your comment there. Sherry from Barbados.
Sherry!
Good morning to you. And Marine, yes, Marine, stay safe. Guys, as you go out there, make sure that you are safe. Make sure that you're doing every single thing to make sure you arrive alive,
Yeah.
as we keep saying. We
Yeah.
don't want more casualties on our roadway. We don't.
COVID's still with us too. We got to watch that.
Well, apparently,
take your precautions.
Based on the actions I've seen all together, I tend to believe that COVID.
Them guys say COVID finish. I don't believe that.
That's right.
Arrive alive. Take your precautions against COVID. Yeah. Have a fantastic day.
Make sure that you continue to share the live stream, as we say that persons come back and they join and they look at it after the live broadcast, and make sure that you do your part as an active citizen. Active citizenry, I think that's how we refer to it, and share the live stream for persons to get the opportunity to view the program after. So have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow for FYI 8 a.m. and be sure to join our affiliate programs of Below the Belt at 12 noon, and also this evening in the ring. I think ringside is going to be packed up this evening. I'm going to be first. Have a good day, guys.
I cannot confirm that today.
Have a good day, guys.
Stay safe.